This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview. Nahid Memon, the CEO of Oracle Power, joins us today following positive results from the Geochemical survey at the company's Jundee East Gold project in Australia. Now, this is your maiden orientation survey using mobile metal ion geotechnical techniques. So I wonder if you can, leading up to this survey, if you can provide us some background on the project and the metal ion technique that you used.
Sure. Thank you, Mark. We were also recently granted the exploration license. And since the grant of our exploration license for this, we are now looking towards sort of moving on to a proper, accurate drilling program. But in order to do that, we have to sort of assess and identify a target as accurately as possible. So the MMI technique, which is a geochemical sampling sort of analysis, allows us to identify the area that we would like to target. And the way that it does that is that it checks for literally the metal ions, which are, I'm not a geologist, but from the understanding of it is that the way they move within the soil. And also, we have approximately 100 meters of surface cover. So this technique is very good because it works very well with large covered sort of surface areas like that. So this technique checks for the mobile metal sort of ions, literally particles that move. And if there is mineralization, they're seen to move upwards, or they are seen to be present in the soil. And this technique separates the soil and then identifies these metal ions by using some organic substances or solutions to identify or to separate the presence, or these ions as they're called, within the soil cover. And the good news is that we found the presence of these metal ions, and necessarily they would not be gold or copper or something that we're actually looking for, but they would be other metals representing anomalies in the soil. But we have actually found gold and copper specifically coming through. So hence we are super excited that we're quite sure that there is the presence of mineralization, but also more specifically the presence of copper, metal, as well as gold.
Okay. So this is early stage exploration. What do you say you're excited? What do these early results tell you then?
So these results give us a lot of hope, and certainty is like a huge word to use at this point in time, but certainly this establishes the way forward for us. So now we go in and refine this sampling further, i.e. we now did this at a distance of 250 meters. And now what we're going to do is do an infilling. So we'll now do a sampling at 150 or whatever meters according to the program that the geologists come up with, so that we can further sort of zone in and narrow down the space and identify the target area more accurately. So that's our next step. And all of this leading to our drilling program, which then moves on to establishing the presence of the mineralization undercover.
Okay. Now, the RNS mentioned a mineralized system in a previously unrecognized greenstone belt. So does this imply that you've perhaps made quite a significant find here?
So again, as I said, I don't want to say something which is then taken as being misleading at all. And we are sort of responsible for every word that we say, and we need to justify it. But yes, if I can say to you that we are super hopeful, and we believe, and we have reason to believe that yes, this is a find worth reckoning with. And if we are able to establish the sort of and identify the scale of this, then we could potentially be looking at something significant.
Okay. Okay. And what about the surrounding area then around your project? Are there other deposits that you can perhaps take some confidence from?
Yeah, certainly, because this is 7 kilometers east of Jundee mine, which is Australia's third largest gold mine. And the mineralization here from the gravity survey that we had done initially looks very similar to the mineralization in this greenstone belt looks very similar to that at that mine. So there's reason to believe that there is a lot of similarity in the sort of the underlying elements here, similar to what there are in that mine. And then, of course, now we've got the geochem. So it's all adding up and it's all coming together. And this greenstone belt has not been it wasn't identified before because it has been covered by almost 100 meters of soil cover. So yes, I mean, I would like to call it a discovery of sorts, but yes, it is absolutely something which is something to count on and move further to establish a resource.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've got your geotechnical results, the early stage. You've touched on the next stage is the drilling. But I wonder if I can ask you, what is the next stage in exploration at Jundee now? Are you going to be planning a drill campaign?
Yes. So once we've got our geochem slightly more refined, because we've done the first shot at it, but it's a bit it's a 250 meters. So now we want to, as I said, narrow it down, do another geochem, but a quicker one, and see if we can do more samples to just see, the extent of the movement of these metal ions or whatever, the presence of these metals in the soil, where exactly it is, and more concentrated. And that we do by another sort of sampling survey. Once we've done that, we have then got a sketch, a plan for a drilling campaign that we can then add to our survey initially and so on. And putting all of that together, then the geologists can come up with the most accurate drilling campaign. Because we are also, very cognizant of ensuring that it should be as accurate as possible. And the sort of this is 80 plus square kilometers, the Jundee tenement that we have, Jundee East. So we can't really be drilling all over. We have to identify the area where we feel is the most, there's the most potential there. So this is what we are doing. And the second geochem, and then we move on towards the drilling. Which is going to be fairly soon. And so this year looks to be as a very happening year at Jundee East.
Okay. Well, Naheed Memon, the CEO of Oracle Power, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Mark. Pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this Stockbox interview. For more information, interviews and videos, visit our website at stockboxmedia.com or give us a follow on Twitter by searching @StockboxMedia.